The trailer for Electric State, a new Netflix movie from the Russo brothers, starring Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt, just came out. They released a new clip from the movie, and the first responses that I saw to this clip were trashing Millie Bobby Brown for lowering herself to even be a part of such slop as this. First off, Evan Romano on Twitter said, the combination of Millie Bobby Brown's apparent star level and her clear and obvious disinterest in making any kind of art or anything that's actually good has become quite off-putting.
It's my favorite part.
Is that like
I love it.
a reason
I love that she
to
doesn't
be
care.
a fan of Millie Bobby
Yes,
Brown?
it is, 110%.
Because film nerds online hate her for having this apparent lack of taste in film and cinematography.
I want her to be the bane of letterbox writers everywhere.
Well, someone else had a really good point. Why would she have such astute taste in films? Sorry, I don't care if Millie Bobby Brown doesn't care about movies. If I were forced to be the sole breadwinner to my entire family at age 12 and forced into an insane Netflix contract, I would also not care about films as art and just see them as a quick buck.
Yep.
And I can't blame her either. Another person said the career Millie Bobby Brown is having is actually a direct consequence of not watching movies. It's been almost a year since Millie Bobby Brown said she doesn't care about movies in an interview, and people are still harping on it and using it to trash her. In fact, back when Winona Ryder was on the promotional tour for Beetlejuice, she was praising Jenna Ortega for her incredibly astute and precocious taste in films, and she has all of these obscure references that she can make. Simultaneously, the second season for Wednesday is getting promoted right now, alongside Electric State, another Netflix project. I don't think that Wednesday is like the epitome of high art in, movies or television, but that's just my take. But Winona Ryder was clearly saying this as a pointed remark to compare Jenna Ortega to Millie Bobby Brown as this anti-intellectual who doesn't care about the artistic side of her work and only cares about taking a job and selling her makeup brand and her loungewear brand on the side.
What's funny is this kind of becomes a topic of discussion where we've had this discussion before, where men who talk about taking a role just to pay the bills get applauded for it, and women somehow get denigrated for it. Remember we talked about this?
Who said that?
I don't remember who the guy was, but we talked about this. I think it had to do with Rachel Zegler. But we talked about some guy.
Oh, her referring to Shazam. She was asked why she took the role in Shazam and admitted that she's not a comic book fan and that she just needed a job.
I support that. That's the smartest thing that she ever said.
Yeah, and that didn't require her to say like, oh yeah, I hate DC, I hate comics, I hate my character, and everything about it. She didn't say any of that. She did take that liberty when talking about Snow White, which was her major misstep. Yeah. But there is nothing wrong, I think, with the mentality of just approaching it as your trade, what you do for a living, and not as some kind of service to the humanities.
The bigger issue is when the studios get involved and tell these people not to research the characters. And that does happen.
Well, that helps with something like Electric State, where there is no lore and IP it's based on.
It's a book, right? I thought it was based on a book.
Was it?
Yeah, it's based on a book.
Had you heard of it before they announced the movie?
I mean, I don't buy that the Russo brothers
because nobody had heard of Bullet Train before the movie came out.
Nobody believes the Russos are that creative.
Literally, no one had heard of Bullet Train, the graphic novel, before Bullet Train, the movie, came out.
Somebody in the chat
it's a similar situation.
Somebody in the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that Electric State was a book, not a before.
I would just like to go back to Millie Bobby Brown's original comments about this and her apparent disdain for the art of cinema. Here in an interview promoting Damsel, her other Netflix movie from last year, Millie Bobby Brown said, "I don't watch movies. People come up to me and say, you should definitely watch this movie. It would change your life." And I'm like, how long do I have to sit there for? Because my brain and I don't even like sitting for my own movies.
I love it. I fucking love it so much. That's
we have another
awesome.
20 from Zach Hates YouTube. Brett, I just started watching Suits last night. First 2 episodes were pretty great. Didn't know Meghan Markle was an actor. She's okay in the show. It's like a cross between House, Limitless, and Better Call Saul.
If you like Limitless, the TV show Limitless, which everybody should go and watch, I believe it is on Paramount Plus right now, you should watch High Potential on Hulu. It's very, very good, and its editing style and narrative structure takes a bit of the formula from that in a show called Endgame with Sean Doyle.
Thank you. We do have another 20 from Sarah G. Wasn't happy with Mary's take on Bianca. Feel like women don't take accountability. She dresses like this all the time. If she was drunk driving, we wouldn't say someone made her do it. Just wear clothes. It's not hard. I don't think you were listening because I literally said the exact opposite of that yesterday, but we'll get more into that
we're gonna talk more about that
discussion later in the show. But anyway, continuing Millie Bobby Brown's comment, she said her fiance, now husband, Jake Bon Jovi, is the biggest movie buff. My fiance just sits and watches movies all day, and I cannot do that.
And she just sits and listens to Bon Jovi records.
This is the one thing I can't sit down and do. But I really love Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. I love Mad Max. So I feel like I'm always channeling that inner badass. And on the rare occasion when Millie does watch a movie, she likes to multitask. She says, I just have to be doing something. So I either eat too much because I'm just bored, or have to be doing something, baking, grooming a dog, on my computer. If I'm not doing something, I just can't sit there and look at the screen for that long. It's not to say that the movie isn't epic and cinematic and brilliant, or that there aren't amazing performances. I love some of these actors, but she really has that classic Gen Z attention span that prevents her from sitting and focusing on one thing at a time.
I'll tell you, like, for me, what I've really come to realize is that's only a problem for me when it's something I've seen a million times before, where it just kind of becomes background noise and then my phone takes up most of my attention, which is not good. It's not, but I've been taking pains to try and watch new stuff, even if it's just, like for me, I have to go and usually check about 3 things out. I get about 10 minutes into a show. I'm like, nope, not for me. Try something else out. Not for me. When I'm actually watching something that I haven't seen before, then I can watch without having to look at my phone. And that's honestly a blessing, because then I'm not shoving blue light into my eyes constantly for hours at a time. So I've been trying to watch more movies lately or television shows lately without necessarily looking at my phone. But I can't do that with stuff I've rewatched. She seems to have that problem even with stuff she hasn't seen before.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe she and her husband just have different tastes in movies, and he just constantly shows her stuff that she wouldn't like.
He's watching like Soviet films or something. He's watching
that Jenna Ortega was bragging about.
Yeah, he's watching like Charlie Chaplin or like
She's I don't like, there's even not know. Even any talking. Like, I can't watch this.
I don't know. I just get annoyed with myself if I can't pay attention to.
I understand.
The thing I chose to watch. Yeah. So why would I even waste my time? If I'm gonna be on my phone, I'm gonna be on my phone. If I'm going to watch something on TV, I'm going to watch that.
I mean, maybe it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't watch a lot of podcasts. Like, I host a podcast, and I don't sit around and listen to podcasts.
Well, it doesn't require you to watch it, though. It only requires you to listen. So I listen to podcasts that are in video formats all the time without looking at the screen. I just have it going while I do chores or whatever.
I listen to a lot of podcasts that are audio only. Mm-hmm. Mostly like it's like podcasts that go through and like rewatch shows. I'm currently listening to this guy who goes through each episode of White Collar and breaks down what he believes the psychological makeup of the characters is, which I find really interesting, because a lot of times I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Oh, that's kind of right. which is, I kind of hate it because then it kind of changes how I feel when I go and rewatch the show, but it's great. I like it. First of all, maybe it's because people tend to have this feeling these days that most of these actors see what they do as this high calling, this art form that's designed to change the world, and people are like, you're self-important and stupid, shut up. Whereas she's like, yeah, I don't know, just had to make some money. I mean, a lot of actors do this. Harrison Ford talks all the time. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to make some money.
Millie Bobby Brown is on the track to becoming a billionaire because she's monetized herself as a brand, is selling products outside of just doing movies.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to be laughing all the way to the bank. Yeah. From what I can tell, that's her future.
Oh, maybe it goes beyond acting. Maybe she gets into producing and doing things beyond just being in front of the camera.
Yeah, and like, it's like that person said, it's not hard to believe that she became jaded.
Yeah.
By growing up in this environment. And I feel like there's this growing group of, like, this subgroup of people who are obsessed with the concept of media literacy. They're obsessed with
everyone knows media literacy just means you don't agree with this movie that I like. It says you're watching it the wrong way.
They're obsessed with Letterboxd. Like, they're people who have accounts on Letterboxd and think themselves critics when they have no expertise. Or even if they do, they use it to put other people down. And they have a bunch of big words that they like to use to sound very erudite. And it's like its own little religious sect at this point. And I'm tired of these people, especially these weirdos who are getting like A24 tattoos.
Yeah, that's weird. It's why I liked Greg Owen's breakdown as to why negative reviews get more views than positive reviews, where he talks about how, like, if you do this, there's a reason why I never say, like, I never want to be like, go watch this movie because it's so expensive. I'm like, look, I liked it. Did you ever go see anything else that I saw? And did you agree with my take? I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the reason you went and saw something you hated because I said I liked it, right? Like,
still all their choice at the end of the day.
All I can tell you is that it was whether I liked it or not. But he's like, he points out, he says, look, when you give something a negative review and somebody likes it, they can just chalk that up to disagreeing with you, but it doesn't matter because they liked it, so spending their money wasn't a big deal because they ended up enjoying it. But if you say that you like something and they hate it and they go and spend their money on it, they're like, hey, bro, I got limited funds. What are you doing recommending this garbage to me? That's why I always make fun of it. I say, don't take my recommendations. I'm just going to tell you what I like.
I'm looking at the responses to Electric State, and looks like everybody is comparing it to the comic, saying it looks nothing like it.
I do know that
it cost $300 million for Netflix.
I don't know who scored this scene. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyright struck. But whoever scored this scene, it's really, really bad. The music does not compute with the scene at all.
The dialogue is also corny as hell.
I'm saying, but the point is, corny dialogue can be fine if you have suitably upbeat music that goes with it. It's not good. It's not a good score to go with it. It looks fairly good, but I mean, the
Chris
robots.
Pratt has the range of a cardboard box.
The robots are like 2 syllables off from the racist Transformers from the Michael Bay movies. So, you know.
Yeah, it's just more slop. Yep. Just on a constant conveyor belt of slop.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.